One of the hardest things about having ADHD is what happens after a massive event where there's so much dopamine, so many conversations, new people, attention, validation, approval, all the things goes on. What happens about going back to normal everyday life after the event? So I've been a personal development junkie for over 10 years now. I've spent over $60,000 in courses, programs, mentorships, coaching, all the rest of the things. And in that time, I was undiagnosed up until 6 months ago. I've been medicated for 6 months, and over the past weekend, I went to Morgan Nelson and R.Y.S.E's Mind and Money Accelerator program. It was an absolutely amazing weekend. However, all of the dopamine, all the late nights, plus being medicated, getting myself to a really high level of dopamine, functioning at my best, then going back to real life. I could not get out of fucking bed yesterday because of it. I struggled so damn hard. So much so that the kids were late to school on the first day back of term for term 2. I literally noticed the time, and because of urgency and dopamine surging and all the rest of it, got out of bed at 9:05 and got the kids to school at 9:12. It's hard. It's very challenging. It's one of the worst things about dopamine and having a dopamine deficient brain is when you go through periods of surging amounts of dopamine, like you're 100%, you're firing on all cylinders. If anything, you're borrowing cylinders from other people because you're overstimulated. It's reintegrating back into normal everyday life. Waking up, doing your job, not having executive dysfunction. All these sorts of things really start to suffer when you've gone through big periods of overexposure, overstimulation, drugs, alcohol, excessive dopamine, and getting validated for, sharing your breakthrough, sharing your vulnerabilities and these sorts of things. It's a really challenging thing, especially going undiagnosed for so long. I couldn't figure out why after I went down to Melbourne for 2 weeks to go do my NLP master practitioner and master practitioner of hypnosis. 2 weeks I was in Melbourne. 2 weeks I was immersed in this, this lifestyle of, going through presuppositions, doing heal work, change work, lots of hypnosis, all the different things. I couldn't figure out why for a week after it, I couldn't do shit. I couldn't action anything. And it was because I had so much dopamine deficiency and I wasn't medicated at the same time. And I was getting all of this love, attention and approval and validation and dopamine from doing the things. But then I removed myself from that environment, went back into normal everyday life, and the motivation, everything went away. And I was suffering. I couldn't figure it out. So for the personal development junkies out there that can't figure out why you can't regulate properly, why you can't action things, why no matter how much caffeine you had, I had 7 coffees yesterday, it did fuck all. I had my medication yesterday, did fuck all. Why you can't action anything? It's because you're essentially going back to being undiagnosed if you are ADHD, medicated, all the rest of it, or even if you're undiagnosed and you can't figure it out. It's because you don't have enough dopamine to be able to do the simplest things in life, like get out of bed, brush your teeth, and get off to work and do all the things that you know that you should be doing. So yeah, that's my story of what I went through on the weekend. It was very challenging. However, I knew yesterday I only had 2 sessions yesterday. I had 2 personal training clients, really easy day. I didn't have anything to do. I had a little bit of work to get done. So maybe this has given you a bit of insight into what happens after you go spend a bit of time doing some personal development, seeing new people, going to weddings and parties and these sorts of things. If you can't action things the day after or a few days after going to a big event where there's, lots of socialization, drugs, alcohol, these sorts of things, there's a good chance there's some things going on with your dopamine system. Even if you're not ADHD, even if you're, just a normal everyday neurotypical, going through big bouts of dopamine, going through big bouts of big emotions and personal development, you can even suffer from some bit of dopamine withdrawal syndrome going on, because dopamine's not a set pace. It's a very fluid sort of thing that goes through depending on what the environment is giving you. So yeah, that was my experience. Much love, take care, and follow me to rise higher.